All right. What's up? What's up,
Good
Monica? Morning.
morning. Good morning. Good morning, everybody.
All
Welcome to
right.
the Bird Dog Breakdown.
Yep. It's our second one. We don't have Ingryd on today. She is traveling. She's at a conference this week. So it's Monica and myself going through. We have a number of fix and flips to walk through, and then we have some. I guess one is more of a mixed use park, like short-term rental, more of a vacation destination. And then I believe, what else do we have? An RV park or mobile home park to review?
I got a mobile home park to review with you guys on. We want to show you some good deals that we're looking at too, I think, and deals that you guys can tell right away that there's, the path forward to getting it under contract, basically. So that's what we're here to do. And I think we could start with Bobby. Do you want to start with any of the fix and flips deals that you've been looking at, or?
Yeah, let's do it. All right, let me I'll share my screen because I think it's helpful to have this stuff drawn out. Okay. Is it added to? Perfect. Okay, cool. So where is my markdown here? Let's see here. There it is. All right, cool.
Okay.
All right. So first deal. So we get a bunch like where we're looking for fix and flips, Arizona, like Maricopa County, and then South Florida as well. So I have a little bit of both for some of the deals that were sent to Ingryd like in the past week. Just reviewing. This one is in Phoenix, Arizona. It's a 3.2, 1,700 square feet, and the purchase price is $265, and then the ARV that was submitted. Now again, I think not sure how the bird dog came to the ARV. I know for time for if you're not sure how to calculate ARV, I know one of the things that at least I'm telling the bird dogs too is like, well, at least you can use the wholesalers ARV and submit it that way just to get the ball rolling, like if you're really unsure, and then learn along the way so that ultimately you can look at comps and find that after repair value yourself. And you can use tools as well to do that. There's some really good AI prompts that people within the community even are looking at, but we have an underwriting Zoom within Sub2 that you can go and learn how to do that as well. But for time purposes, if you're not sure how to do it, you can use the wholesaler's number, but most of the time it's inflated like this one. And so they submitted that the ARV was 420,000. So the actual ARV is around 400,000. So you're looking at the comps. So there's nothing that has sold over 400,000. It's actually one sold like 350,000, and you want to try and look within ideally the last 3 months, but you can go 6 months, and ultimately within like the same subdivision, within the same proximity, not crossing any major roads. Jamil Damji has a really good breakdown on a comping sheet that he's got from working with appraisers, and it's really good. I actually always have it next to me, printed out, because I'll leverage it often to just understand and try and get to those comps, right? You want like 20% plus or minus in square footage. You want the same style house, like it's a single story. You want to compare it to a single story, 2-story, compare it to a 2-story. And then if it's not exactly the same, there's actually a breakdown of, all right, well, I can reduce the price in which the comp was sold by X amount, depending on maybe it's on a busy street, or Uh, maybe there's no pool. There's a garage instead of a carport. There's ways to back out and get to an ARV. For this one, there's nothing that's sold over 400K. So in order for us to jump into this deal, we'd have a maximum allowable offer of 255. So we're giving that feedback to the bird dog to go back and ask for that price. And if we can get it there, then this would turn a deal from decline to something that we would explore further and possibly take on.
This one, Bobby, just to interject a little bit, if the bird dog brought you guys this fix and flip, and all they did was just brought you the lead and you did the work, it's fine to bring these offers to us, you guys, and then we'll do the work. But if you dig in further and you can look at the comps in the area and that, you know, you're going to be a bigger partner in this deal as far as a bird dog. Another thing is this one he just went over. If you look, they wanted 265. We're telling them we'll give them 255 since the after repair value was only about a $20,000 difference. So we'll always give it back to you and say, hey, you can go back to them and say, you know, this is what we were willing to pay for it, and try to see if you can get the deal. Like I said, so this isn't necessarily a bad deal, like Bobby said, and you can give the wholesalers ARV, but if you take some time and do some comping, you can really see what the ARV is, because it is inflated from wholesalers.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. And, you know, like tools like Deal Sauce, you can look at Comps Privy. There's some good tools out there. You have to pay for them, but there are some good tools that will at least give you a general idea. And then also, though, if the wholesaler is posting that deal, a lot of times they will post the addresses that they believe are comps.
Mm-hmm.
If you pull those up, a lot of times what I've noticed is like these are comps from 12 months back, or they cross a major road, or they're not even in the same subdivision. That's mainly what I see. And, you know, they're trying to dispo the deal. So I get it, and you can use it. But yeah, even like what Monica's saying, like, even if you take the addresses, copy and paste them in, and just look at where they're located, like in proximity to your subject property, and how long ago did it sell, it'll give you a good idea of whether or not that's something that you could rely on. And yeah, so that's the first one.
Yeah.
The second one, another fix and flip, a manufactured home in Mesa.
Yep.
And the purchase price asked for there is $195,000. And the submitted ARV is $300,000. Right. So again, this is pulled from a wholesaler stating this. Now, the thing for us on this deal, or the reason why it was declined on this deal, is the property backs a freeway, and which major value killer there. And so it creates that basically on the ARV, it's not 300,000. It's actually much less, which really puts it outside of what we are looking to rehab. And so the idea that it's just the location in that sense, again, it just crushes that ARV. And I think honestly, like if you take a look and understand, and maybe I can make a copy of this too and post it. Or if you go to Jamil might have it on his Instagram, where he breaks down and has like a 1-pager sheet of the property appraiser rules. Mm-hmm. It's really good. He's shared it. I would have that up in front of you. If I can find
share it, Bobby, are you able to share it? Bobby, are you able to share that like somewhere, not here right now, but yeah, is there a way that we could post it up somewhere? Does Jamil mind if we share it?
I don't think I'm pretty sure he posted it on his Instagram, so I don't think he would mind. But yeah, we can share. If he does, we can share something very similar that will give people an idea, and you can have it up in front of you while you're looking through deals. It's so good. Just in terms of like lot size, these are things that our appraiser is looking at, right? Mm-hmm. So it gives you a really good idea of how is an appraiser valuing a home, because they're looking at comps as well, and they will deduct, they'll adjust the ARV based on certain things in terms of the market that it's in, or adjusted for traffic. What if it's fronting a major road? You subtract like 20% of the ARV. If there's a garage or carport, you can adjust the ARV by that. So there's a lot of good rules of thumb here that everybody can use. So we'll definitely post that after.
And it's a little different with manufactured homes, right, Bobby?
Yeah.
Than regular single family. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Cool. All right. I believe we have two more in the fix and flip category. So the Scottsdale, Arizona, this is a luxury fix and flip, and the purchase price asked for is 1.16. The submitted ARV is 1.6. If you actually look, there is a direct comp. It's still listed, so it's not sold yet, which is not ideal, but it's been on the market for 120 plus days at 1.35 million, so it's worth less than that. And again, this is a direct comp. It's been sitting on the market. It gives you a good idea that, well, this property is overvalued. The market is saying that it's overvalued, and they're not willing to pay 1.35. So they're definitely not willing to pay 1.6. And so the purchase price would need to be much lower. And then on top of that, this falls outside of the buy box, our buy box, right? So the first thing is we're not trying to look for homes over 700,000 purchase price. And so this definitely falls outside of that. Not that we don't know people that would do luxury flips, but again, just the ARV. Not sure what comp exactly they use for this, but you can even see just there's a property that's a direct comp still in the market at a lower price than this ARV.
Right. And so that's another thing to pay attention to, the buy boxes. So whoever you're bird dogging for, really try to focus in on what they're asking for you or from you, so that you can bring quality leads. Not that lead would have been bad for a luxury fix and flipper, but that's not what we're looking for.
Yep. Okay, cool. Last fix and flip. And again, and then we'll sum it up, because I didn't go through all of them. We have so many. We have 90 in the pipeline. And I mean, a lot of them are fix and flips, and a lot of them follow that same, the summary of. So what's good is a lot of these fit the criteria in which we laid out in our buy box, except for that last one, and except for this one right here. And I'll explain. But for the most part, they're fitting within that buy box, like in Maricopa County or in South Florida, in Miami-Dade County, Broward County, Palm Beach County. It's within that less than 700,000 purchase price range. And so it's enough for us to evaluate them. But the main thing that we're seeing is just we have to go back and renegotiate and get it at a much lower price in order for it to work for us, right? And we're looking to profit at least $40,000 per flip. And so ultimately these are just, there's not enough gap there. Percentage of ARV wise, a lot of them that we're seeing is like 75% ARV, and we need them a lot lower in order for us to take it on. So this one in Miami. So this is, I don't want homes built before 1970s for the reason of typically there's cast iron plumbing, higher likelihood of asbestos, and also like cloth wiring, electrical, basically. And I don't want to do full rehabs. I want to stay in the light rehab range, ideally, or medium rehab range, more like $35 to $45 per square foot in the rehab. And having to go through and do plumbing. I don't know the roof. That information wasn't provided, so I'd have to check. This is a deal. However, this is a deal like at its current purchase price, $245,000. The ARV that I have for this is $470,000. So this is a deal. However, I would have to check with the wholesaler or the agent on whether or not they have updated the electrical, how old's the roof, what's the HVAC look like, and then plumbing, right? Is it still cast iron? Because typically those last like 50 to 75 years, and so that's way overdue. And I honestly don't. The cost at that point would turn this into I'd have to come back at a lower price for sure, and I don't want to take on that heavy of a flip down here. And so I think the takeaway there is, if you know this is a property that's been built earlier than what I'm preferring on my buy box, or any bird dog, if you're seeing it's like, wow, this is 1920s, 30s, 40s, 50s build, and my buyer is looking for 1970s and greater, let me do a little bit more research and reach out to the wholesaler or to the agent, or whoever, directly to the seller, or wherever you're getting the lead from, and just ask, like, has the how old's the roof, has been replaced, what does the plumbing look like, what's electrical look like, has anything been updated, and how old's the HVAC, questions like that, just so you can get that information. Because if the plumbing has been updated, electrical has been updated, and maybe it's just the roof or whatever, like, that information is very valuable for me to now pursue it further and take a look, because now I'm going to have to go back and ask for this information, and you should be able to ask. It's good to get an understanding of why. For me personally, I'm not trying to do a rehab where I have to take on that much work. Anything else, Monica, there? Anything on the fix and flips?
Not really. I am searching for RV mobile home parks mostly. I have been getting some fix and flips. I do want to comment that Bobby is using a tool with his team that is amazing, that he may be making it available to more owners club and people to use on the fix and flips, just so that he can get a quicker evaluation and not spend a lot of time on trying to figure it out. So it just helps you, to make a decision faster on how much time you want to put into these, how much underwriting do you want to do. So he does have that tool that he's working on and might be available to everybody soon.
Yeah. I'm working on it now. I'm definitely going to make it available. It's a fix and flip calculator, and it'll make everyone's lives a lot easier. What's the fewest amount of inputs that someone can put into a calculator to understand whether or not it's a deal, and if it's not a deal, well, then what price does it need to be to make it a deal? I think the speed in which you can analyze deals and review deals, whether you're a bird dog or a buyer, the ability to review those deals quickly and renegotiate a certain price, it should help deal flow happen a lot more efficiently. So, all right, cool. Hey, Don. Hey, Chris. Hey, Azul. I see the comments. I don't know if you see them too, Monica, but I'll try and keep an eye on them as well.
Yeah. Is there any questions that you need to get to?
No questions yet, but if anybody does have questions, please feel free to ask. These are real deals that have been sent to us within the last week that we're in a bird dog challenge, but we get these deals sent to us, all three of us, me, Monica, Ingryd. We probably get sent at least, like, especially during this challenge, but 5 deals a day or so have been coming through. Ingryd gets a ton of deals sent her way, just because she has a lot of the interactions with a lot of the folks, especially newer folks too, coming in for the No One Left Behind challenge, the Bird Dog challenge, coming in person to Arizona for some of these, the new sub 2 members. So it's really cool to see all the deal flow coming in for RV, mobile home parks, And I think it is a good reminder, Monica, of like what we are looking for. So I don't know. I know you basically just said what you're looking for, but if you want to give an overview too of some of the things that you're focused on, just so people know where they can find your buy box.
Yeah, of course. I was going to put it in the side chat, but it's monicasbuybox.com. So if anybody on here has any RV mobile home parks, all my buy box details are in there of what I'm looking for. I think Bobby and I want to go over a few that we're kind of working on right now, as far as one that didn't make sense that I was super excited about. But once we dug into the underwriting and everything, and, you know, when you're looking at these leads, you can't go, you want to put yours in there too, Bobby? You can't do, you cannot go off pro forma and what's the possibility that it could make most of the time. You just can't, because you don't know. You have to go on actual data from like what's happening now. And so I had one park brought to me that right away, I could tell that if you just look at it, if the NOI is 1,331 and they're giving you this huge pro forma, I mean, that's a year. They're saying they're making a 1,300 a year on the NOI. So then I went and looked at the location, and it did meet my buy box as far as pads. It had 52 pads, and I could pull it up. I could pull the Crexy part up. I did do a sheet on it. So let me see if I can pull that up. Mm-hmm. But after looking at it, when you're looking at if you're finding it on Crexy, RV Parks, .com or whatever, you know, wherever you're searching, if it doesn't say that it's a seller carry, creative finance options, cash offer, which is usually a discounted rate, that right off the bat is a red flag that I want something creative, and that's what I'm looking for. So there's many ways for creative, right? Sub 2 hybrid. And we just got one of those brought to us that we're actually in the middle of underwriting that looks really good. And then this one, the hitching post in Missouri, it's 52 total pads. Hold on one second. We'll see. Let me just put this on so I can show you guys this. I'll share my screen in 1 second. Sorry, guys. It's just the location. It doesn't have a path for us to get to the 12 to 15,000 a month NOI. It just doesn't, not with, I mean, the pro forma saying it can make 140,000 a year, which is kind of close. And you want a 12 to 18 month path. I was going to try to put this on a Google Doc. Hold on, so I can just show it to you guys. So bear with me. And the location is not a growing location, and it's not making anything right now. So I don't mind sharing. Bobby, could I share my screen?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Use in the studio, you just present.
Oh, hit present.
Yeah.
Okay. Slides and PDFs. No. Your computer. Okay. Oh no. So let's see. Present. Share screen. Share screen. Let's see if you guys can see it. I want to show you guys this. This is what the bird dog had sent me. This is the hitching post RV, the deal evaluation. So it was in Missouri, RV park, 8.7 acres. It did fit my pads. It's 9 of them are partially developed. They don't have the power and everything ran to the 9 partial developed sites. I did some digging into it. They have all the wire and everything to put these stations in at all 9 of these, but they're not developed. The price was $777, so that's totally great. It was renovated in 23. It's 23% occupied. It's only making $1,300, like I said, a year, and it's saying it can get to $140 a year. I ran the numbers, and it actually is. It's the pro forma cap rate's 18. That's super high, so that kind of gives you a question too on, you know, how it's going to get to that high of a pro forma cap rate. It's well water. It's engineered septic. It has upgraded electrical, and then it has sub-meter power. So it's not built back yet, but they don't even from what I can tell, they say 23% occupied, and I don't even think it's that. They do have a nice bathhouse, laundry, and they have a duplex for the manager, and they have a clubhouse, a restaurant, bar in it. But my point being is, when you see this kind of stuff and you see the NOI is, like I said, you could bring this to me and that's just a lead. In this deal, it actually does say on Crexy, I went and looked it up and everything. It does say willing to owner carry. I think they want 125,000 down. And then I think it was a 5-year balloon with 5% interest. And there's no, that would be your only debt on this. But when I ran the numbers, there's no way. And plus location, there's not a way for us to get to what really truly meets my buy box. Not that this was a bad lead, because it did say it would take seller carry, but I'm just saying, if you guys dug in a little more, and Bobby and I have shared our breakdown of how we're going to tier payouts for bird dogs. And the more you do, the more chance you're going to get wedged in on a deal with Bobby or I, or learn to orbit, or it's just taking a little more time to dig in. But if you just don't have time and you just want to send leads, you can. But hopefully this one did say seller carry, but it's not a deal for my team. But I received probably 40 leads that were not seller carry, not creative finance. And that I think they were confused on what the cash deal means. So the cash deal, what's the saying? Nick put, funny how they say it can get to a rate, but not even close to there.
Yeah. This happens so much. I mean, again, it's kind of like wholesaler marketing, fix and flip too, right? Like this, they're valuing the property off what it could be, whereas as buyers, it's like, well, we're going to pay for what it's actually doing today, and that's how we're evaluating it, because we're going to have to come in and do the work, right, to get it stabilized. And so I know it's like that that like give and take of the sellers or the brokers are always just trying to they're painting that picture of what it could be versus what the reality is. And that's typically what we'll see. That's why when we're looking at deal, as soon as a deal is sent, especially like a mobile home park, RV park, boutique hotel, motel, it's answering those questions of, okay, what is it actually making today? What's the net operating income, the NOI today, which is that revenue minus expenses. And based on that, and knowing like what's the market cap rate, right? And you can typically say any like 8 to 10%, but you should do research and understand what the cap rate looks like for that asset in that market. And you can do that using AI to Perplexity, like go ahead and do market research to understand that. So but what at that market cap rate, like what is it truly valued at today? What should it be valued at? Mm-hmm. So you take that NOI and divide it by, let's say 8% or 9% cap rate, and it'll give you the value of the property. And you could compare it to, all right, well, what are they valuing the property at? And almost always it's much higher, because they're basing their value off of what it could be once it's stabilized. And we're going to make an offer based on what it is today. And so we'll look through the numbers to verify that the revenue it's in fact making that much in revenue. And then the big question, do we have a path once it's stabilized to getting to $15,000 a month in cash flow? And so we'll work backwards from that.
Sorry to interrupt you, Bobby.
No,
Nick,
no problem.
yes, we do this every Friday. It's 8:30 to 9:30 every Friday. So we'll be doing that.
Yep.
Bobby, do you want to go over the one for North Carolina, Georgia? Remember the one that we underwrote? And then, the funny thing with this one that we're going to talk about is how I feel is when people are really crutching on depreciation, like, hey, you're going to get this big depreciation, and it's like in there, bulleted in there. For me, right away, you guys, that's a red flag that it's overpriced, because they're saying, hey, you're going to get a win on the depreciation, but you're going to get a win on the depreciation if you buy any property, because it's you get 100% depreciation again. So
Yep.
that's not really the depreciation. I mean, a lot of people are looking for depreciation. So yeah, this would be a good property, but you're not going to overpay for a property by $1 million to get depreciation. I mean, what does that do, right?
Yep.
You
Yeah.
don't pay the government, but you're going to give them $1 million, right? So anyway,
so
go ahead, Bobby. I was excited about this deal, you guys, but
me
once
too.
we dug in,
Like
we were excited.
I run a short-term rental management company here in Florida in the Disney market, right? And so the idea of creating a really unique vacation destination has always been something that I have wanted to do and still want to do. And so like the prospect of this is cool. Like we don't mind calling it out, right? Magical Mountain, you could look it up. It's something that is available now, and they're open to creative. But to us, when we were looking through this, we're like, this is pretty cool. Like what they've built out, it's like a little amusement park. And but the problem is, so they right off the bat, right, they're asking for 2.4 million, and everything they've been giving us is projected, because they still have I think there's like five or six locations that they still need to build out. There's like different what would you say, they're like home, there's different stays within the park. Like there's different there's like tiny homes, there's a little like bus cart out, basically Airbnbs that people can stay at throughout this entire this acreage of land. It's pretty big too, right? It was like 15 plus acres or something. Monica, do you know? Do you remember?
I'm so sorry, Bobby. What'd you say?
Do you remember how many acres this property was?
I think is it 15 or 11 acres? It's somewhere right around there. I think it's like 11 to 15. I think it's 11 acres.
Okay, got it. So yeah, throughout this, they built out little Airbnbs throughout and they still have to finish building out like 6 of them. And so everything they gave us was based on projected, right? And when you look at the numbers, right, they're projecting 65% occupancy. They aggregated or summed up all of the average nightly rates that the property could get. And when you look at the actuals for 2013 or 2023 and 2024, they're losing money. So they're saying that the cap rate is 17.25% or 17% basically, which is very high. And so like really high, which is a red flag. And you know, they're saying their expenses are only 64,000. When you look at the expenses, you can see there's a number of things missing from there in terms of like the tech fees, management fees, and it's just a lot lower than where it needs to be, right? Like typical operating expense will be around 60% or expense ratio, right? 50 to 60% for something like this, especially like on a per Airbnb basis. And you could probably get it down a little bit, but they're saying their expenses are 64,000. So what is that? 64 divided by 478, 13% expense ratio.
But Bobby, you might want to let them know that some of these years they closed down for months at a time. They had some personal issues they were dealing with. And we didn't get to see the years before, but if you guys think about it, during COVID and in 21 and 22, whenever they started this, it could have been making some really good money, because that's when you couldn't international travel. That's when people were just going to Airbnb destinations, which has dramatically come down now because, the world opened up in 21 and 22. It started coming back, and you figure 23, and we do have the 23 financials, and they were losing money. So they're basing their whole thing is on assumption that you're going to get. So keep going, Bobby, but we can talk about how we valued the land and where we got to the number that we thought that this is worth, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that's a really great point that you bring up, because they did say what they made in 2022 at an aggregate, and that number looked great. But again, to your exact point, the travel, especially like Blue Ridge and the Smoky Mountains and there has just been a huge correction in the vacation rental market within domestic in the United States, and since post-COVID, and that does need to be taken into consideration. Yes, they did close down for personal reasons too at times, and it could be, I think it's for someone that has like this vision for this and they're willing to take on the risk. This doesn't mean that this can't come to fruition. I think the expenses would definitely come up, but I think the projected revenue, it could get there, but it's too much of a risk, and the work that it would take to
complete the
this.
cabins and the little buses and things that are really cool.
Yeah,
places,
it'd be a lot of work.
You'd have to put like 400,000 more on top of buying the property. Bobby, can I just answer Nick? Nick, yeah, we look at it for an 8 to 10% cap rate, and some people don't look at cap rate. Some people don't look at cash flow. Some people look at different things because they have a different objective. Most of the time, and if we need to edit our buy box better, we can. Yes, if you get something that's like a 12 to 17% cap rate, there probably is a correction needed somewhere, because it's just not very likely that you're going to get to that. It doesn't seem correct, and most of the time it's not. So you're correct. There's something you need to ask more questions, I guess, and there's a correction needed.
Yeah, so that's a great point. So why do we look at cap rate, right? So when we're looking at fix and flips or single family homes, I should say, even small multifamily, you're looking at after repair value, or you're looking at comps, right? And there's a lot of volume there. So you're able to find comps very easily to understand, am I getting a property at a value, or am I overpaying for the property? Am I paying at the market value? So you can get a really good idea of whether or not what the value of the property is that you're about to buy compared to the market. In commercial space, it's much more difficult to do that because the volume is much less, right? And everything is very unique. It's like this park, for example,
so
very
unique.
Yeah, there's nothing else like it. So how do you comp it? How do you understand whether or not you're paying above or below market value? You use the cap rates to do that, because the cap rate, if you look in the market and you're trying to figure out, okay, properties like this or commercial assets like this, what's the current value of those at a cap rate, basically saying like the NOI, the net operating income of that property divided by the value of the property, to understand, okay, here's the market cap. And we want to try and get to a 10%, because that way that tells us that there is room to improve the NOI. And if there's room to improve and there's value add opportunity, then we can reduce that cap rate in 5 years or once it's stabilized, so that we can refinance or exit, because the smaller the cap rate, the less risky the deal is. And so at a 10% cap rate, it gives us a really good opportunity for us to reduce that. And
so what, like 7, Bobby? Is that where you try to get it? 6, 7?
Yeah, you could do 7, 8% even. Like we want to try and reduce it as best as possible. The best way to do that is increase your net operating income, which means you can increase rents to like market. So when you find properties where they're below market rent, that's a value add opportunity. Also, where else can you increase revenue, and then where can you cut expenses and reduce that expense ratio? You can drive that net operating income higher, and then over time, like once you stabilize that, you will create equity in that property, and so you can force equity into commercial asset. So that's why, long story, I say all that because when cap rate is really just our ability to understand whether or not
the asking price is
what's this property valued at?
How are they getting to this?
Exactly.
Yes.
So
Dawn asked about the getting to 15. Dawn, it doesn't have to be making 15K. It has to be a pathway to us when it gets stabilized, which we try to look in like 12 to 18 months, you try to stabilize a park. So if you can get to that 12 to 15,000, 15 is the best. Or even more is obviously better. But if you can find a pathway to that, and we can do a little work on to show you how we get there, not today, but in general, Dawn, I can get with you. but it doesn't have to be making it now. It needs to have a pathway to it. That's what it means.
Yeah. So,
okay.
So what we look, one of the things we look at, so what is this property actually valued at? When you look at their expenses and you look at their actual revenue, what the one thing is, and I mentioned already, they were missing some expenses. But the biggest thing is if you look at their actual revenue. So yes, maybe they could make 478,000 once everything else is built out. There's a cost associated to that, but it could. However, 2024, they made 161,000. They spent 195,000. Their NOI is they're losing money. They lost money last year, 34,000. So it's actively losing money. And in 2023 is the same thing, right? They lost money. Yes, they did shut down for a little bit, but again, it's still difficult for us to be able to truly understand. There was a correction in the vacation rental market, so that could cause a lot of that as well. And so now you're like, well, you're absolutely, the property can't be worth 2.4 million based on what it actually is making, because it's losing money. So this is a huge risk. It's just a huge risk that we weren't willing to take on. Somebody as a passion project and everything, like there's absolutely somebody out there that's going to take this and they're going to make some money on it. It was just not something that we were willing to invest time and resources into. So, because then we were even saying, like, what's the land valued at least, so we can get some good idea. And it's like, 500 to 800,000, and which is kind of what we were coming to, like the park is actually worth today.
About 800,000, but and we were saying we would go maybe a little higher than that, but 2.4 to 800,000 is huge. That's a huge difference and huge risk. I mean, plus you have to put the extra 400,000 in to finish the other cabins and little accommodations and stuff. It is so cool for somebody that wants to do a passion project, and if they can work something out with them. And also in 24, it lost money because even though they shut down, they have a petting zoo. They have management in place. So they didn't shut down as far as operating expenses. They still had operating expenses going, and they didn't have any renters coming in. They still had to take care of all the animals. They still had to take care of the property. So they were actually doing some trading too. I found out, like, where they're giving free rent for trading management, free rent, take care of the animals. You still got to buy the feed. So it sucks that it didn't work out, but there's no way that someone is going to come down. I still have to have one more conversation with the owner, but from 2.4 to, it's just not, it didn't math. So
yeah,
unfortunate.
Yeah. So we do have a couple that that I think we're going to put an offer on. We some really good deals that we're working through. Once that happens, we'll be able to break those down as well and talk through those, which is pretty exciting. But I think I know we have about 13 minutes left. I don't see any more questions too, but I do. Maybe we can recap, and if there's anything else, Monica, that you wanted to bring up.
Right. You guys, today at 10 o'clock Arizona time, Pacific, Laura Morby is going over some bird dog deals, and in sub 2, if you're in sub 2, and she's bringing in her housekeeper that she just bird dogged and got a property with Laura. So I guess Laura's getting more involved in the sub 2 community now that her kids are getting a little bit older, and she can leave them for a couple hours with a babysitter or nanny. So she's going to be doing her first live today at the office for Pace. So I'm just plugging that in, because as much value as we can bring the bird dogs, that's what I want. That's what this whole intention is giving back, trying to help you guys understand, and also for your future. It's not just about bringing us leads. In my team, I try to provide value and do weekly calls and go over just certain things that they want to know about, and Bobby went over today, like, how do you get the cap rate, Bobby? Like, my team was asking that. They didn't understand. And so I just think by us providing as many resources for you, this Laura Morby thing might be a great opportunity for you to learn some more stuff about bird dogging, because she's going to have some real live deals that she's going to go through today at 10 a.m. I'll plug in as well.
Yeah, if you're not in sub 2, and you want to join the sub2community.com. You can do that. I mean, I've been in sub2 for a couple of years now. I know Ingryd's like 4 years, maybe 5 now. And Monica, I know you're coming up on a year.
Yeah, I'm almost a year a year in sub2, and I'm in Owners Club, and it's been amazing. You know, I've been in the real estate industry a little bit, but mostly in the construction industry. So, yeah, sub2 has so much to offer. It's not just a community where you pay this fee and you're in it for 6 months. It's not a mentorship like that. It's actually, you're in it for life, and it's just the resources you can gain. And if you want to build your own portfolio, and bird dogging's the start of that. And so for a lot of sub2 students that are new, they are all just recently joined sub2, and they're learning the ropes on how to climb the ladder to do their own portfolio. And I ask each and every one of my bird dogs, Bobby, what is it that you are trying to do? Are you just wanting to bird dog? Do you want to focus on what? Where are you focused? I introduced myself to all of them, and we each have like 15 people. So whoever calls into my Zooms, I get to know them a little bit and see where I can give back in that area too. Like, boast them up. A lot of them are just starting for bird dog, because bird dog is like today money. You can make little money. If you can get a contract closed with your owners club or your buyer, you're going to make some money now. And some of the other ways to make money isn't always today money. Some of it's, 2 years from now. Like if you buy these parks and you have to make deals where, how do you get to that 15,000 and what's your exit? So, so this is really great. Sub2 is a great community if you want to build a portfolio and eventually get out of your, if you're in a W-2 and work for yourself.
Yep.
Spend more time with your kids.
Yeah. So,
you want to recap, Bobby, everything?
Yeah, I think so. Basically, for fix and flips, the deals that we've been getting, I think the main takeaways there are understanding the after repair value, the ARV. Yes, you can use the wholesalers or wherever you're getting that deal from as a starting point, but most of the time, like 99.9% of the time, it's inflated. It's higher than what it actually is. And so understanding how to look at comps, I'll, like Monica and I said, I'll post a resource that will help in terms of how to value properties. There's that ARV. Also, just obviously checking it against a buy box. If for some reason this could be a potential deal, and the year that the property was built comes before like your buyer's preference, if they have a preference, just go and check and ask some questions ahead of time before bringing it to your buyer. Again, like the more work you put up front, at least for me, and I know Ingryd and Monica too, like we're going to pay, we're happy to pay bird dogs, and especially if they're putting in work up front to do the research and bring us solid deals, and understand like the more work you're putting in to understand ARV, what's the current condition of the property, and maybe you understand like, hey, I know that they'll buy, but it's got to be at like 65% ARV, and you go back and negotiate on our behalf to say, hey, I have a buyer, but they're going to have to be at this price, and then you bring it to us. Like, we are more than happy to make sure that you're compensated accordingly to that. So just putting in the work up front and making sure when you're bringing the deals. So hopefully that's helpful on the fix and flips, and then the mobile home park / like mixed use park that we talked through. Any takeaways from that one, Monica, you want to touch on?
Just basically, just when you are bringing the deal, like I told you in the beginning, when you're looking at that NOI and you're looking, and if it's just assuming pro forma this and that, it's not a killer. But if the NOI is $1,000 or $1,300 a year, that's not a really successful property. There might be a way to the 15,000 though, so we may look at it. But a lot of the time, like Bobby said, we're looking at the actual numbers. What are they doing now? Not the the pro forma, it always looks good and catches your eye like, oh, I could make 180,000, a year NOI. But I think that just following the buyer's buy box and seeing exactly what criteria they want to see, because like me going through 40 leads that they are not taking any creative type of finance, it's really hard. Our time is, I'm getting so many leads, you guys. I have like 72 new leads this week. That's a lot. That's a lot to go through. So that's why also too, I think Bobby and I are trying to build, we're both building a team. We're actually on a team too, but we're building a team. And if we want to get some go-getters out of these challenges that could join our team. So you need to think of that too. The more effort you put in and whatever, we're going to be like, hey, do you want to orbit, or do you want to come in and be doing this, this, and this? And we could build together, or, so I think on the RV mobile home parks, really just scouring the initial lead a little before you send it to me. That says the creative finance portion somewhere, something, and looking at the NOI.
Yep. Yeah. Awesome, Don. I'm glad. It's so good. Awesome.
Yeah. Don is on my team, actually, Don Neff.
Awesome.
And he's really eager to learn, and he's awesome. He asks a lot of good questions, and he's a keeper for sure. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, cool. So there's our buy boxes. You can find Monica, myself, Ingryd, focused on mobile home parks, RV parks, and you'll find our buy boxes there, as well as some others. We all are looking for fix and flips, but in different areas, right? So Monica, yours is in Reno, or at all of?
I'm really looking in northern Reno, Nevada, and California, like Northern California, Oregon. I don't really have anything. I don't really have that many parameters on my fix and flips. And so for bird dogs, they can get confused on your buy box because of shiny object syndrome. And we all have it, because I have it. I want to do everything. But this bird dog challenge, I started with the RV mobile home parks, mostly for my team. And now I've incorporated some fix and flips, but I have other stuff on there too, boutique hotels, but I don't want to overwhelm everybody. So if you find any of those things, it's fine. But I'm really focusing on RV mobile home parks and then fix and flips.
Cool. Yeah.
And yours says what you're doing too, right, Bobby? I mean, the mobile home RV fix and flips.
I was gonna say, if you ever find fix and flips, like kind of respective, we have different markets that we're looking in, but overall, we'll take a look at mobile home parks, RV parks across the United States. So feel free to send them to any one of us, and we'll take a look. Also on you can reach out to me on Instagram at Bobby Souza.
Yep.
And what about you, Monica?
You can reach me, just contact me through my buy box, or you can contact me through my Facebook page. It's Oterongo Builders. If you just Google it, you'll find all my contact information. And Dawn, yes, the pro forma is the future projection. It's telling you what you can make eventually. That's what pro forma means.
Cool. All right. Awesome. Well, thanks everyone. Have a great rest of your Friday, and we'll be on next Friday. Going through some more deals that were sent.
Perfect.
Cool.
Thanks, you guys. Have a great weekend.